American exceptionalism. Some people believe it, some people don't. But what does American exceptionalism mean? The goal of my journey is to get past the buzzword and explore, what does American exceptionalism really mean? I'm Janine Turner. Join me as I speak with scholars and Americans all across the United States about what American exceptionalism means to them, both historically and currently. American exceptionalism, how and why it matters.
Wyatt Hensley is a former Constituting America two-time We the Future contest winner from Joplin, Missouri. He's a recent graduate of Pittsburgh State University with a bachelor's in history education and a minor in political science. He's now beginning his career in education at Veneta High School in Veneta, Oklahoma, teaching world history and Oklahoma State history. Wyatt is also a regular volunteer on Constituting America's Winter Mentor Trip, serving as the official bus tour guide, and has even provided a couple of fascinating stories for the Our American Stories radio show. We are so excited to have Wyatt Hensley with us today. He is one of our winners from Constituting America. We're going to talk all about that. And also, he is one of our hosts on our Constitutional Chats Weekly. And I'm so impressed with this young man and his entire family. So, Wyatt, welcome to our show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here as always.
Well, I want our audience to have the opportunity to get to know you. So let's talk about, you're from Missouri. Tell us about where you're from and were you homeschooled or no?
No, I did. So I'm from Joplin, Missouri, and I attended Joplin School District all the way from kindergarten up until senior year. So, yeah.
Missouri.
Joplin, Missouri, yeah. It's a pretty small town, about 50,000, so smaller than most, but we're more famous for the tornado that happened in 2011. Yeah, the Joplin tornado. That was my kindergarten year.
And what happened? Were you affected?
Well, fortunately, our house was not, but Joplin, it was the most costliest tornado that hit the United States, still is. And I believe it was 160-some people lost their lives. The town was absolutely destroyed. Our hospital, an elementary school, the high school, and one of the middle schools, which my mom was working at the time, it was completely destroyed.
What time of day was that?
It was Sunday evening. It was Sunday, May 22nd, 2011.
You know, I'm from Texas, so we get a lot of tornadoes, but we don't have basements. So you just sort of go, well, you know, it's going to be okay. And I live on, I have a 2-story little cottage. It's very small. And I have 4 pets upstairs with me. A Labrador, a cat, Tinker and Bell, or a half poodle, half chihuahua. And no alarms went off, but this went around the house. I'm like, wait. And later I saw the tree had been snapped, in half and twisted around. And I thought, I think we had a tornado.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, we don't have basements. Did you have a basement?
No, so my family, we didn't, and we have a crawl space, but by the time when it was closest to us, we really didn't have enough time to get out there because we had to go outside the house. So we just hid in the garage, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, and my dad, we had our dog at the time, and then me, my brother, and my mom, and then my dad was watching the TV, just
which
being
usually
the dad
goes
thing.
out.
Yeah.
I mean, I have cable out there. I have satellites. It usually all goes out, so you can't hear anything. But y'all had TV?
Yeah, so he was watching that thing, and like I said, fortunately, we were fine. It came about 2 to 3 miles away from our house, but I mean, friends, family, the whole town was just absolutely devastated.
What killed so many people? Because usually you hear tornadoes, luckily so many people don't die. It's
just
a few.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons why is because it went downtown. So that's where a lot of people live, is that downtown area. And like I said, too, it hit a bunch of those places, the hospital, the middle school, the high school. Fortunately, high school wasn't in session.
But nobody was there at the time, right?
No, but we actually had our high school graduation, which was at the college, but people driving home from that graduation unfortunately got caught up in it.
Oh, it was during the high school graduation?
The high school had just finished the graduation, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Finished the graduation, started walking out, and then the sirens started going off. And I should say, too, with the sirens, I mean, it was what you're kind of saying. We hear the sirens, and then we look, and it's like, oh, it doesn't look that bad.
Right.
Or, I mean, there's been some people who were talking about they were just eating and the sirens went off, but they just went about their business. No one really expects an EF5 to hit your town. Yeah, it was an EF5 tornado.
Wow.
Yeah, and like I said, there was a bunch of other stores too. The Walmart, we had a Pizza Hut. Yeah, there was just so many.
What year was this?
This was in 2011, so I would have been 6 years old.
6 years old.
And yeah, so I was in kindergarten at the time, and the rest of the school year got canceled. And so the next year, the high school, they actually attended in the mall.
Wow.
Yeah, and then middle school, where my mom, she was a counselor there, she went to a warehouse. The whole school did. And so whenever my brother and I rode the bus from school, because we went to elementary school, we would just go to the warehouse.
Wow, because
Yeah.
the school and everything was destroyed.
Absolutely destroyed.
It's like Wizard of Oz.
Oh, yeah.
Right, because it was Kansas.
Yes, yeah.
Right next door to you.
Unfortunately, it wasn't as glamorous.
No, I filmed a movie in Kansas, in the plains of Kansas. So that's the closest. Though I think I gave a speech once in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah?
St. Louis.
With the big arch.
Oh, yes. Beautiful.
So that was really fun.
Yeah, I love going
Well, I'm
up
sorry
there.
about that tornado. That's really pretty
But
pretty
I mean,
tragic.
we have rebuilt. The high school opened in 2014. The middle school is all rebuilt. I mean, we're thriving. Really,
Yes.
it's definitely the tornado. In a sense, everyone came together. It kind of united us. Whenever there's a tragedy, that's when people really like to stick together and come together and fix those problems. And so fortunately we were able to, and as well as the help with the state and federal governments, and also some other countries too. People from all around the world came, yeah. And one of the more surprising things is that the United Arab Emirates actually donated money for the high school students to get MacBooks.
You're kidding.
Yeah, for whenever they're in school. Yeah, they used MacBooks. And that continued up until my senior year. Or excuse me,
Mac?
Mac.
Oh,
like Apple.
MacBooks, like
Apple.
computers.
Yes, yeah. And that continued until my
Wow.
freshman year of high school.
Oh my goodness.
So there's about 7, 8 years that
That's
yeah,
interesting.
that the UAE donated
That's
money.
not,
Yeah.
a lot of times we hear that America's always helping, but it's
Oh, yeah.
nice to hear. And of course, Qatar, I guess, just gave Trump a 747 for Air Force One. I'm like,
Yeah.
But that's really great to hear.
Yeah.
That's
And-
interesting.
Yeah, and so like I said, I was only 6, so I don't have too many memories of it,
Right.
but it's still, the impact of it is still remembered today.
I remember I walked out from Fort Worth, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and I lived in a house. I had my ranch, but I also had a house in town, which is between Dallas and Fort Worth.
Mm-hmm.
And I had left my daughter, who was about 3, with my mom to go get my hair cut. From like here to here. It was a big, and I was in Fort Worth with my best friend from 5th grade. It was her mother. So, and I was raised in Euless, but also Fort Worth.
Okay.
So I drove all the way to Fort Worth. Who knew a tornado was coming?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And all of a sudden you look out and it's like tornado sirens. I'm like, I've got to get home to my daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And man, I drove like a bat out of you know what to drive all, and I was on like fumes of gas.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
amazing I didn't run out of gas. And everybody was stopping underneath the bridges. I'm like, I'm getting home to my daughter.
No.
I'm like, are you? Because it was horribly frightening to think
Oh, absolutely.
that tornado was coming.
No, absolutely. Unfortunately, we haven't
But
really.
no basements there.
No. I mean, there's a few, but it's
Yeah, we
not
don't have
really.
basements either.
No.
It seems so crazy because they can come for thousands of dollars and build the basement.
Yeah.
But it's just.
Especially where I live, it's a lot of rocky ground too, so it'd be harder to construct it. Like I said, there's a good amount of homes that have the crawl spaces.
160 people, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you lived.
Yeah.
And your family. God bless everybody who didn't.
Yes, and fortunately, like I said, our home was safe. We were all safe. But like I said, it's just we do things to remember the tornado as well as the victims of it. But we move on, we grow from it.
And here you are.
And yep.
And so 50,000, kind of a small town.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I was raised in Fort Worth, the northwest corner of Fort Worth, so it was a small town as well.
Okay.
My dad was from Athens, Texas, which was definitely a small town. And he was plucked out of Athens, Texas as the all-state star of the football team.
Oh, awesome.
To attend to attend West Point Military Academy.
Oh, wow.
And he also, I think, had a scholarship to go to A&M.
Wow.
Some other schools, and he really wanted to go there. But his mother and father were like, nope, you're gonna go to West Point. And he said he called his freshman year and it was so tough. I mean, West Point, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking 1957. No, 1950, we'll back up 4 years, so 53.
Okay.
Right? And square meals and all this. And he called his mom. He's like, I want to go home.
Well, especially being so far away from home, too.
Yeah, he was 18,
Yeah.
And his mom says, no. Yeah. And he told us later he decided to stay because he never wanted to have to face his children, that he left.
Yeah.
That he didn't stick it out.
Wow.
But he became one of the stars of West Point, and he was the I don't know the exact words, sorry, Dad, the commander, the leader of his, company. Mm-hmm. And I forget, they did companies by height, and so he wasn't very tall, so he was like the smallest company, but he was the leader of his company. And in that very famous 1957 graduation, let's say there were, and I'm speculating, but like 12 companies.
Okay.
They all decided that they were going to disperse and run as a joke.
Okay.
At the end, at graduation, because they parade.
Yeah.
Right? And so when they hit whatever point, 10 out of 12 companies dispersed and ran. And my dad is very famous for looking back saying, hold, we are not going to run. Yeah. We're not going to run. And so he was one of the, it's just a famous story at West Point. So he was one of the two that didn't run. That stayed, held their, their duty and where they were supposed to do. So generals were coming up to him afterwards and saying, son, you're going to be, a general someday. But the others that dispersed and ran didn't get to attend any of the graduation
I can only
festivities.
Imagine. Yeah. I can only imagine.
So that's kind of the famous story. So we're proud of Dad for that. And then he flew twice the speed of back then it was Air Force Army. He chose the Air Force, but he was one of the first to fly twice the speed of sound.
Oh, wow.
And the B-58 Hustler and Strategic Air Command and things of that nature. But I know that, so tell me about your upbringing. You obviously are just a fine young man. And you and your brother. And is it just you and your brother?
Yeah, I mean, I have two older brothers as well.
Oh,
yes,
you do?
But there's an age gap in between.
How many years?
So the oldest one, I believe, I don't want to get this wrong, 33 and then 31.
Oh, wow.
And then my Jonah and I, he's 22, I'm 20.
It's about 10 years apart.
Yeah. And actually my second oldest brother, he has children, and I'm closer to them in age than I am to him.
That's something that happened to my grandmother. Yeah, her mother had a child at 40, and so she was closer to that.
But,
how fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I am so blessed. I mean, you met my parents, and I am just truly blessed to have them, as well as the whole family, too. I mean, I'm very close with my family. That's why, I'm still going to college, and I'm still commuting from home, living with them.
Nice.
So I get to spend time with them, because, family is truly important to me. And then also I grew up in the church as well. And so we attended church weekly, even though sometimes my brother and I don't remember this, but my parents love to tell the story of how we always were running under the pews and misbehaving. But the pastor, she didn't mind because, she was just happy to have children in church.
Well, that's the way it should be.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm a member of a church, and they always say, if there are kids wiggling, it's okay.
Yeah.
They're here. And then I visited another church, and I had Juliet in my lap, who was maybe about 2.
Yeah.
And she made a little, like a little, she was always well behaved.
As kids do.
And then someone came and said, you got to take your kid out. I'm like, well, then I'm not coming back to this church.
No. And what kind of welcoming is that?
Your mega church can just,
But it's a small country church. In fact, actually, my mom is now the pastor of it, too.
No!
Yes, so, I guess I'm a pastor's son.
Oh, that's great. My grandfather... No, yes, wait, hang on. My great-grandfather on my mother's side was a Methodist minister.
Yeah, and Methodist pastor,
Methodist pastor, yeah.
Well, that's why I'm saying my mom is. Yeah.
Oh, Methodist?
Yes.
Oh, great. Oh, my gosh, we have that in common.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Methodist Church, which has a lot of over the years, my dad was Episcopalian and my mom was Baptist, and they did not figure that out before they got married because they met each other and got married in 6 weeks. Can you imagine?
That is incredibly fast. 6 weeks?
So my dad's like, we're going to be Episcopalian, and my mother's like, we're going to be Baptist, and so there was all this chaos around it. So I've been Baptist, Episcopalian, Presbyterian, Methodist, but I love Methodist because it kind of has that gospel feel of Baptist, but it's not quite rigid.
Well, and it really does focus on the Holy Spirit and doing good acts of service. And it's just kind of interesting, too, to look at some of the things, because a bunch of it grew out of the temperance movement of not drinking alcohol.
Right.
So instead of using wine and bread for communion, we use grape juice. I just always find that really fascinating, too.
Yes, I do too. The Protestants use grape juice, and my daughter married a Catholic, so we've had a lot of conversations about the Eucharist. I'm like, well, isn't it
all sort of supposition. I mean, it's not Christ blood or, but anyway, we won't go there.
But no, I mean,
we might upset somebody.
Yeah, but I mean, circling back to it, religion and my Christian faith has definitely been a huge part of me and my upbringing, and then as well as my family too.
That's awesome.
I definitely.
Your mom. So how did she become a pastor?
Yeah, so I mean, she had.
Because she was a school teacher first.
Well, yes, she was a counselor, and I mean, now she's the head of a state school for kids with disabilities, but she still preaches every Sunday.
She does? That's awesome.
Yes, yeah, she does. I mean, she has always been strong in her faith, and she just really felt a calling to go and spread the word. And so she talked to some people, and she was able to become a pastor. And because, I mean, it takes a long time to become officiated.
Right.
I mean, because she was, what was it? I can't remember the exact title, but it wasn't pastor, so she couldn't officiate communion or do any of that stuff.
Yes.
But it was a lay speaker, that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it took her a few years, but now she's able to do it, and we could not be more prouder.
That's great. I for a little bit, was going to SMU theology.
Okay.
Theological. SMU theological school. But then, I don't know, I had to move and I didn't get to finish.
Yeah.
But that's really terrific, and that's a great example. We've been talking about that with Jewel and Jorn. I interviewed them yesterday. We're on the constitutional chats together.
Yeah, great people.
And how important faith is, and how to incorporate it. Somehow we've lost that in the public schools. So that kids miss that sort of kids that don't get it at home.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Some kids are like my daughter. I raised her in a deep and abiding faith, right? But it's some kids don't have that.
No.
And so there's such a vacuum when you think you're living just purely. If I have found that I'm 62 now, right? And every day I have to go back. I'm not living my life for myself. I'm living my life for a higher purpose. And that's, I don't know where I'd be without my faith, to be the cornerstone, the one to lift me up when everything's failing around.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I give so much praise and thanks to my parents for raising me in that community. And so making sure that, I was strong in my faith, and that progressing in my faith journey and growing, raising us in the church. So that, like I said,
it's your base.
Internally thankful.
It's your
yeah,
base.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a great foundation for, as you were saying too, you don't know where you'd be without it.
No, through all the dark times.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
what I find is people will really fail us.
Oh yeah,
right?
people, absolutely.
And family will fail us. And I've crawled on shards of glass on the floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's always this angel, God, Holy Spirit that says, no, stand up. Stand up.
He's there to comfort us.
And I was talking to God a lot last night, right? About just, I have a purpose for you, and just stay focused. And I hearken back to one of my favorite verses now is, Lord, into your hands I commit my spirit, which is what Jesus said on. It's that's really what it's all about. Okay, so let's talk about, you're such a fine young man.
Oh, well, thank you.
And you are in your third year of college?
Second year. Well,
second year of college.
It's complicated.
Okay.
Yes. My second year at Pittsburgh State University. Just finished it, actually. So finished all the finals.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Oh, there's a Pittsburgh,
bit
Kansas?
Smaller. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's in southeast corner, yeah.
Learn something
about 30
new every
minutes.
day.
Of course,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know we introduce you and say that you have a hope of becoming a history teacher. And I said, no, it's not a hope. If Wyatt wants to be a history teacher, he will be a history teacher.
Yeah.
And so talk about your, so you're in your junior year.
Yeah. Well, I'll be doing my student teaching in this upcoming school year.
But you're graduating in December.
December, yes.
So you're almost finished. So you're only you probably did a lot of high school courses, and so you only had to be in college for 2.5 years.
Yeah. So one of the benefits from graduating from Joplin High School was that they offered dual credit classes that can account for both high school credit and college credit at one of the local community colleges. And so I had to take some online classes also during the summer too. So I really had to be focused my junior and senior year. But I was able to graduate with my associate's degree a week before I graduated from high school. Not to brag, but.
That's awesome.
And Jonah did that as well.
How old are you now?
I'm currently 20.
20? And you're going to graduate, so will you be 20, 21 when you
I'll
graduate?
be 20, yeah,
20?
when I graduate with my bachelor's.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, I'll graduate with history degree with education emphasis, as well as a minor in political science.
Political science.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what's your goal?
Well, like I said,
History. We know history is one of your fascinations.
yeah, I would love, I mean, when I was younger, even when I was younger, I loved history. I loved learning about it. And I remember coming to Washington, D.C. for the first time when I was 10. My family, mom, dad, Joan, and I, we came and we got to tour the Capitol. We went to the White House. We saw all these amazing historical places. And I mean, it's one thing to learn history. I still find it fascinating. But when you're actually there, you're seeing where history takes place, where it took place and where it continues to take place. There's just something so beautiful in it. And so I hope that I can tell my future students that history is so important, not only because it's fascinating, but there's so many lessons to be learned from it. And if you don't know where you come from, how do you know where you're going to go?
You know, and history has sort of been put aside. It's English, math, STEM.
Yeah,
And history or the Constitution, the way the government works, how it includes people, that it's really we the people, it's not what they do up there.
Absolutely.
Has been sort of lost. And yet, in 200 years ago, 100 years ago, it was intrinsically infused into the youth.
And I mean, STEM is definitely important, but I mean, history, it was such a crime to put it aside when, especially, you can ask a bunch of people too. They're probably not going to be able to tell you a whole lot about how the government works, how many branches, how many representatives, senators, the government structure. But that is something that, affects our everyday lives. And being politically informed, there's just unfortunately not that drawing or a lot of people wanting to do that anymore.
Well, everybody thinks it's on automatic pilot.
Well, that's very true too.
They don't realize that it could crater at any moment. Like we're in such debt, we have to be able to pay off the debt. And I think that in the schools, a lot of times, that's one of the reasons we speak with our George Washington Speaking Initiative, into so many schools.
Oh, yeah.
Is that, no, it's not we the government, it's we the people. And it's like those laws that they're trying to pass in D.C. come from small local towns, states, and the changes that they want, the voices. And I don't know if you've ever watched Northern Exposure. Have you ever actually watched it?
I have not been able to.
Oh my gosh, okay. Well,
I don't have Amazon Prime is the issue.
No.
I need to get it, yes.
Oh, get Amazon Prime, because I think once you get it, it's free. You can watch it free with commercials.
Okay, yeah.
But we're getting ready to start our podcast on very soon.
I saw it, yeah.
And the correlated. But we do a lot of Alaskan town halls.
Oh.
Where the people are there saying, I don't like that you're doing this, and I don't. And they're in the middle of nowhere. Of course, this was the 90s, but it's applicable today. But they were in the middle of nowhere, and they had to take care of themselves, and they all got together in the community, and they all expressed their voice. And that's really, I think a lot of times people think government's what they do instead of I love federalism, as we've discussed.
I was about to say, yeah, you just perfectly described what federalism is right there.
It's the local towns.
Absolutely. Well, because you wouldn't want the national government determining every single thing about your community.
Well, they don't care anyway. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, most people aren't going to.
The president knows what's going on in your small town. I was about to say,
or they might not even heard of your small town too. They're not going to be able to know your needs. The people who are going to be able to best serve your needs are those people who are your neighbors, who've lived there, who know what's going on. And so that's definitely something that's so amazing to think about, that the founders created, was this system of federalism before.
Yes.
And it's just absolutely
and
incredible.
Nobody cared in like the founding days or the Wild West days if you were a Democrat or Republican. It was just, if you needed help digging a well, we were going to come help.
Yeah.
It's just this partisan divide now that happens, and I really think the media perpetuates it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And
because it's ratings, but if you talk to an everyday American, I don't think everyday Americans are.
No, absolutely not. I mean, the media is there; they're making a profit. I mean, they want to tell the news, obviously, but at the end of the day, if they don't make a profit, they're not going to be in business.
They have to keep it stirred up.
As you were saying too, I mean, if Americans would actually talk to one another, they would see that there wouldn't be such a divide. Unfortunately, I've grown up, as well as my fellow students and kids of my age. We grew up in these partisan times. I mean, I was trying to think of the last time that the country had truly been united. I guess maybe when Osama bin Laden.
2001.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Osama 9/11. But then when Osama was killed or was taken out, I mean, the country rallied around that. And I mean, like I said, no one cared if you were Republican or Democrat. We were all Americans celebrating this event. But after that, I mean, politics has just become so divided, and unfortunately, like I said, that's what I've grown up in and just seeing it. But the caveat to that is that makes me want to express more of this need of bipartisanship, of working together, because I'm seeing what is going on right now, and as well as other students too. We're seeing this deep divide where people won't even want to talk together, won't even want to go near, oh, you're a Democrat, oh, you're a Republican. No. Mm-hmm. We see that and we recognize that's not going to get us anywhere.
No.
Because at the end of the day, we're all Americans.
So true. And the party system didn't exist in the beginning of this country, and it's the ability to have immigrants and people come. I always say, you've heard me say this, from cultures from all over the world come here.
Oh, yeah.
Why would we expect everybody to think the same?
Yeah. Why would we want to, though?
Right, because that's what America's great. It's all this, the color and the intricacies and the weaving of cultures and whatnot that create this American experience. And it's when we say, you have to think the way I think.
No, that's giving the government too much power. But I mean, even the founding fathers, they did have some disagreements, but they were able to compromise too.
Right.
I mean, we have talked about the Great Compromise, where, I mean, you have people from the bigger states who were wanting a more representative Congress, while the people from the smaller states were obviously worried that, hey, that's going to benefit you more than us. We want, equal representation. They were able to compromise and talk with one another and create what is now the United States House of Representatives as well as the Senate, and they were able to lay it all out. I don't know if we'd be able to do that today.
I know, the Connecticut Compromise.
Connecticut Compromise,
right?
Yes. Was it Roger Sherman?
Yes, I believe it was.
Okay.
Right.
I believe so.
But it's the House would be representative. I think Madison wanted everyone to be representative.
Well,
and then there was someone else that came in and wanted it to be.
Yes. Yeah, Madison had proposed the Virginia plan, which was, I believe it was still unique. I believe it was either one or two houses. I can't remember the details. But it was based on population representation, which would undoubtedly support the bigger states.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, I mean, that's where he came from. He came from Virginia.
Yeah, big state.
Absolutely.
Right. And so they ended up saying, well, the Senate can be 2 per state and the House, and that was a compromise. What a beautiful compromise.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's why the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and what they were brave enough to put on paper and actually say, and then the Constitution that backs that up and gives us the rule book for it. And it's so important that we know that. And you talk about history. What we have our study. History holds the key to the future. And as I read all of our 90-day studies, and many times they're 100 days, it's really more history holds the key to the future academic study. One of our tiers, multi-tiers of Constituting America. But I'll also say what Shakespeare said was, what is past is prologue.
Oh,
that's
okay.
Cool for your students.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
What's past is prologue. And if you go through and search all of Shakespeare's sayings, words, verses that are out there in modern day, in vernacular. That there's so many sayings that we say all the time that are actually Shakespeare's. But the past is prologue, so we repeat it if we don't. It was really important to understand it. So okay, so your goal is to become a history teacher.
Yes.
Do you want to stay in your area?
As of right now, yeah, I think, I mean, I know the community, that's where I grew up, born and raised there, so I feel like I would be able to better fit that area and work there. And plus, I mean, still have, like I said, family is very important to me, so I still have family around there. I'm a homeboy. I love to travel and all, but at the end of the day, home is home.
Home is
you
home.
Can't
Just
beat that.
like a good Midwesterner, like Kansas. There's
I
no
feel like
place like home.
I feel like I'm the definition of a Midwesterner. Have all the all the sayings.
That's really great. Is there any particular type of history? I mean, any particular grade that
as of right now, I'll probably start out with middle school, and obviously, like I said, U.S. history teacher. But recently, I've been really fascinated by the Cold War, and I think part of it might just be because of how recent it was, and so it might have some bias towards that. But I wasn't alive for it, and it's so interesting to think that you had these 2 superpowers, these international superpowers competing to become the dominant superpower. Because I've only grown up where it was the U.S., no question. But during the Cold War, you had the USSR versus U.S., And even though they were bitter enemies, no one wanted to actually fight because that would be completely devastating. And they both relied to their economies. There were a few things that had them tied to where really you couldn't fight them, but you can still be mad at them. So it's just really interesting to see, as well as certain events like the Cuban Missile Crisis, the 13 days. That'd be absolutely wild.
My dad was a part of that.
Oh, really?
He was flying the B-58 Hustler, which was a nuclear bomber, and his mission was to Russia.
Really?
And he said if he was called to do it, and he'd go on alert, and have to circle around, and then if he was called off, he wouldn't make it back.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
So like I said, I mean, just so many fascinating stories that we a lot of the times are just now learning about too.
Did you see the Oppenheimer movie?
I did.
Yeah.
That was really fascinating.
Someone gave the secret to Russia. There was a spy that gave the information to Russia, which you could say that, that's good or that's bad. But did it preserve? I mean, it's not like we were going to send the bomb off.
No.
But
it definitely. I mean, it completely changed the conversation and dynamic. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, with this nuclear weapons that both powers possess, that could absolutely destroy us.
And there's a theory. It's like, is a nuclear bomb actually maintaining peace?
No.
Because everybody knows that if it's the end of the world for
I mean, I
world.
believe it's this acronym or this idea of, it's called MAD, mutually assured destruction. If you bomb us, we're going to retaliate, and vice versa, and it's just going to completely devastate both of us. But yeah, I mean, Oppenheimer is a great movie, and I really found it interesting too how they were creating it during the war because they wanted as a way to end the war for peace. And then it quickly turns to, we need to limit this as soon as possible. I just found that really interesting that the man who created it also became the biggest advocate of never to use it.
Yes, exactly.
There's just so many fascinating stories that history has for us. And
really,
not all of
really
them have been explored.
It really is. Is the nuclear bomb going to end up being the apocalypse?
Yeah.
Or is it not? I mean, what's going to happen with it?
Yeah.
There are two ways to look at it.
But fortunately, we haven't used it since.
No, I know.
So
I know.
let's hope we can keep that way.
That's so true. It's so true. And the ability for human beings to think of to be able to manifest something that is that destructive.
I have no idea how they do it. Yeah, I couldn't. No.
The science behind it all, and Einstein wasn't a big part of it actually.
No, I don't believe so. Yeah.
But now quantum physics and quantum mechanics.
Yeah, completely out of my realm.
And I'm so fascinated with all that. I think that's really, really interesting. The quantum mechanics computers that are happening, and nobody really understands. It's the dividing of the atom. Are you familiar with this?
I
watched a PBS documentary.
Okay.
And it was really, really good. It was about Einstein somehow, but I don't believe it. But he calls it spooky action at a distance. I mean, no one could understand it. But once they split the particle, or the atom, it goes into two places. They'll do the same thing, no matter where they are.
Interesting.
That atom will do exactly the same thing as this one once they're split.
Once they're split.
Yeah. So they created these computers that do this, and they do all this, but no one really even understands how it works.
Yeah.
So it's all. I'm really fascinated with that whole aspect of science and where God fits into it. Like God. I think God whispers in the ear to Einstein and everybody. You know what I mean?
I understand.
Like Leonardo da Vinci and all the greats. Puccini thought that. Brahms thought that.
Yeah. Giving them the ability to help do it.
Handel's Messiah, that God actually whispered in their ear and gave them the. So it's
and the ability to do it too, especially like with the artists too. Because I mean, there's no way that I would be able to paint those many masterpieces or sculpt or do any of that. It's just truly incredible.
So it's a matter of something that's missing in our culture today is meditation, right?
Yeah.
And I honed into this a lot after my father died because I'm like, where is he? I mean, I know he's in heaven.
No.
But I mean, where is he?
Absolutely. No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And so I would meditate, and it's just that meditation is just quiet time, right? Prayer, quiet time. Let me try to tune out all the noise and connect. And that's a pretty fascinating experience to do, and to have a faith.
we're freedom of religion in this country, so it's like
Absolutely.
whatever faith you choose. I happen to choose Christianity and the Bible and reading the Bible, but that's a touchstone that takes me back to that sort of meditation to kind of get back to center about what my purpose is. Okay, so history, and let's talk about how you entered the contest, because we have a We the Future contest.
Oh, yes.
And so talk to us about that.
Yes, I mean, I am extremely privileged to have won, along with my brother and then our cousin, Haley Moak, who was the first year contest winner.
Yes.
And that's how we got to know. So the Moaks and the Hensleys have been friends going on 50 years.
And they live in Colorado on
Yes, but they used to live in Carthage, which is where my dad, the Hensleys, they grew up.
Okay.
So that's how they met. They both lived in Carthage, and then they've just maintained that friendship. And so my brother and I, let me back up. So my dad and my aunt used to go down to Louisiana to visit them during the summer. And so whenever they moved to Colorado, they'd been there for a while, we reconnected, and my brother and I started going out there for the summers.
Okay.
And so
Estes Park, right?
Estes Park, beautiful.
The Continental Divide.
Oh, beautiful. I mean, it's just Rocky Mountains are right there. But anyway, Linda Moak, who we affectionately call Nan, she said, there's one condition when you come out here. You're going to have to enter this contest. Constituting America's We the Future contest.
Yes.
And we're going, okay, never heard of this, but we're going to go for it.
All right.
And so we were able to write a song. We didn't win it the first year, but we resubmitted it, and sure enough, we won. And so, like I said, with Jonah, Haley, and myself, and I'm pretty proud of the work. It was fun.
It was a great song.
Yes.
Awesome.
And I mean, just the opportunities that came from that winner's trip, because I believe on that, so we came out in 2019, we went on the House floor. We met Chief Justice Roberts. What else did we? We spoke to the 250 Commission.
That's right. I was there that year, too.
Yes,
I was
yes.
with you.
Yeah, I mean, it was just...
And Chief Justice John Roberts came out and spent a lot of time.
Oh,
with you,
yeah,
like
absolutely. Took our
45 minutes
questions.
with all the winners. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when are you going to be able to do that? Talk with the Justice of the Supreme Court,
We can
especially
thank
the
Kathy
Chief Justice.
Gillespie for that.
Oh,
Kathy
absolutely.
knows everybody in Washington, D.C.
But I mean, that's the experiences, those experiences I'm going to hold on. And that really brings out my love for history. I mean, we went to the West Wing, too.
Yes.
My brother, dad, and I, we came out, and we landed, and then we were immediately taken to the White House. I think we were the last winners to come. And so, yeah, we went to the West Wing, saw the press secretary, the secretary room, the Oval Office, the Roosevelt room, all of these fascinating and pretty exclusive places to get into. And so it's just truly been incredible. Then we were able to win again, I believe it was in 22. Again with Jonah and Haley for Best Cinematic Ensemble.
Yes.
And that was filmed on the Moaks' Ranch in Colorado.
Right.
Oh, yeah. And so, I mean, we have just been so blessed to be able to participate and win the contest and come out on these trips. And now we're a staff on the trips, too.
I know. Yeah. And so you're a big part of Constituting America. It's really a great joy for us when a lot of the winners, because we have quite a few winners,
Absolutely.
that actually come back and are work with us, continue to work with the foundation. And then you're on a Constitutional Chats with us, which is every Tuesday, live, but then it's out there everywhere. You're just always, you have your questions ready, and we have pretty amazing guests.
We have absolutely, and so knowledgeable, too. I mean, I always... sometimes I think, I already know a good amount about this, but then I listen to these guests and they just bring so much insight and wisdom into their topics, and I always learn something new every time.
Yes, it's great. It's really an awesome experience.
Oh, absolutely.
Constitutional Chats, because we break down the Constitution or a daily event, or that our current event that has something to do with the Constitution.
Absolutely.
And so we're very proud of all of you and all of your work, and the contest and the winners of the contest. The trip is always a special time.
Absolutely.
And
and now I get to help out with the winners who do come to DC.
So you're coming back.
I'll be back in a couple weeks.
Yeah, you're coming back. So that's awesome.
And like I said, I just love that it's out in DC too. I mean, you get to be where it happens. And
in the room where it happened.
The room where it happens, yes.
So let's talk about, a lot of people think American exceptionalism a dirty word, right?
Oh, absolutely,
It's
yeah.
like, you think you're better than everybody else. But it's not that, right? It's just that there were things that were accomplished here that were of exception.
Of course, absolutely.
Hadn't been done before. What does American exceptionalism mean to you?
Well, I mean, as you were stating too, these founding fathers ingrained some important principles that no nation, especially of our size, had ever openly declared. I mean, all men are created equal, giving the freedom of religion, freedom of press, all these things. Now, obviously, we have made some mistakes, obviously, and we didn't meet those standards. But I believe the beauty in our story is that we make progress to making that. And, now there's so many other nations that have also come and aspired to those same notions and those ideals of respecting rights, all men are created equal. It's just truly incredible.
Given those rights by their creator.
Yes, not by the government. Mm-hmm. That was also something, too, that was not to be thought of. Like, what do you mean? That's government.
The king gave them before.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or the dictator, which still happens. I mean, one of the
yeah.
things when we're giving speeches in classes, which we do through the George Washington Speaking Initiative,
mm-hmm.
is like there's still 1 billion plus people that don't have these rights. I mean, we cannot take it for granted.
No, I mean, in one of my classes, I wrote a paper about comparing Turkmenistan and North Korea.
Where?
Turkmenistan.
Where is that?
It's in Central Asia, but it's often called like the North Korea of Central.
Is it near Turkey? Turkmenistan?
Turkmenistan. No, it's borders. It's like I said,
was
Central.
it part of Russia originally?
It was the Soviet Union.
USSR?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but anyway, they're both.
Where is it?
It's in Central Asia. I don't really know how to explain.
All right. Yeah.
It's clearer. Turkmenistan. Yeah, it's by like Iran,
we learn something
China.
new every day.
Yeah. But like I said, a lot of people don't know about it. I didn't really know too much about it. But I heard, though, it was kind of similar to North Korea. It's called the North Korea of Central Asia by some. And it's really fascinating, but also sad just to read how much power the government has over their people. Like North Korea, I mean, they don't have... The government is the dictator, is
they
the
think
supreme
he's
leader.
a god.
He is a god.
Well.
I mean, and he can do absolutely no wrong. There's no opposition to it.
Well, you'll be sent off or killed.
Oh, yeah. And then it's just so devastating. But it also makes you appreciate more of what we have here. That, wow, we've had these principles for almost 250 years ingrained in us. And unfortunately, there's some people who don't live in countries that value equal rights, freedoms, rights, anything, because the government is the ultimate superior power.
One of our questions is, do our president and vice president, military, do they swear to protect the Constitution or the people?
And that's a great point too, because they swear to protect the Constitution.
But it confuses a lot of students.
Oh, absolutely.
Which I would be confused. It's like, wait, aren't they swearing to protect the people? But if you listen, they're all swearing to protect the Constitution because the Constitution protects the people.
And
it's the rule book. They have to abide by the rule book.
And that's also what I was going to say, especially not so much in Turkmenistan. It's a neutral country and it doesn't have a big military. But like looking at North Korea, all those militaries, they are serving and swear loyalty to Kim Jong-un or whomever
and
the superior is.
And he gets up there and says, I swear to protect you, the people, but you're going to do what I say.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know it's best. And you don't have freedom of press, and you don't have the freedom to petition,
absolutely
and you don't have freedom of religion, and you don't have freedom to speak out.
No. Well, and then another thing, too, so in their Constitution, they do have some of those rights and freedoms listed out. I can't remember the specific ones. I believe there was like equality granted, or was it freedom of press? There's
RAPS, freedom of religion, assembly, press, petition, speech.
Well,
is that what you're referring to?
Well, I'm talking about in North Korea's constitution.
Oh, North Korea.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
No. Yeah. But they have some of those freedoms that we also have in our constitution. But the difference is, look at North Korea. It might be in their constitution, but they don't follow it.
Right.
They
breaks it all the time.
Oh, absolutely. But here we uphold it
because he's God and he's the king. And,
yeah. But here we uphold it, or if someone were to violate that.
Because it's we the people.
Yes, if we were to violate.
Consent of the people. I think in the Declaration of Independence, it's the key word. Everybody talks about, we're endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among those rights are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. But it's that next line that says to preserve these rights, we are going to create a government that will be based off the consent of the people. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit.
Yeah.
Consent of the people.
I think Abraham Lincoln summed it up best. I mean, a government of the people, for the people, by the people, or something along those lines. And I mean, that's just something truly incredible to think about.
So I think a lot of students get worksheets that say this is how the government works, and they don't really realize that they are the ones that have that power. And that's why I love federalism. Talk about what you've learned about federalism in all of our constitutional chats. And it's so funny because the anti-federalists, it was Alexander Hamilton, George Washington, James Madison, John Jay. John Jay, thank you.
Yes.
John Jay. James Madison, John Jay, Alexander Hamilton wrote the Federalist, which explained the Constitution, but George Washington was behind it. But they wanted this government, but not to take over the states.
No.
But just to say, we've got to come together or we're going to be Europe and we're going to be ruined because we've got to come together and have some cohesiveness. And then the anti-federalists came along and said, wait, the government's going to become too big. We are worried about this. But actually what they were really fighting for was federalism.
Absolutely.
Which means there's a local government, there's a state government, and then there's a national government. But the local and state governments are so incredibly important. So really, they really weren't anti-federalists. It's kind of confusing. They were actually fighting for this federalist. So I really think enough of youth perhaps don't understand, because someone made a good point that the news these days, people don't really watch local news, they watch national news.
Yes.
And they forget about their local communities and the kind of power that you have there that should then permeate out to the federal government, that the president doesn't know what you want. No. It's your representative in your neighborhood that's really your key person. Yeah. So talk about what your thoughts are on federalism, because I'm pretty much fascinated with it. I think.
No, absolutely. Great. I mean, someone told me something, and at first I just thought, well, what do you mean? But I mean, the laws and ordinances that are truly going to impact you come from your community. You have your city ordinances from your city council, state powers, state laws, school boards as well. I mean, a lot of that is in those local governments, not from someone in D.C. And so I think that's definitely something that isn't emphasized enough, is that, if you do want something sometimes in your community, it might be best to start out local and in your state too, not necessarily going to your federal representative first through federalism. So I think it's so incredibly important that we say it's still, as you were saying, they only listen to local news. Not only.
National.
Wait, yeah, excuse me.
Yeah.
Edit out. No, a lot of people mainly just focus on national news.
Or social media, which tends to be national.
Absolutely, yeah. And they're not going to be as knowledgeable of what's going on in their community, especially concerning their local governments. So I think the founders really did a great job of establishing federalism, ensuring that people can go to their local governments and that those local governments actually have power to do something to fix their community
And school
needs.
boards are a big part of that. And
your
mother's
absolutely.
a teacher, so she must have been, our counselor.
Yeah.
Very involved with school boards.
Yeah,
school boards.
Definitely paying attention to it. I mean, the turnout for school board elections or just even local elections are not great because a lot of people aren't as well informed because they're watching the national news. But as you were saying, school boards, they have tremendous power because, I went to public school.
Right, I did too.
Yeah, so these people who are coming up helping with the curriculum are the school board as well as the states. And so I think it's so important for people to recognize and be well informed of what's going on in their community.
And I think the greatest example of this is when I speak with the kids and I talk about in New York City, they passed, you probably heard me talk about this, right? They passed, in the city council, passed a law that said you could not drink a big gulp.
Oh.
It was like against the law.
Oh, I haven't heard about
Too much sugar.
Okay.
It's very much like Prohibition, which didn't last in our amendment.
No.
And it's like, you're not allowed to do this. And I'll say to the students, say in South Texas, do you want the government telling you, what you can and cannot drink? You can't have if you want a big, if you're thirsty and someone says no. But what you want in South Texas may be very different than the want in New York City.
Oh, absolutely.
They ended up reversing that because it just, wasn't. But it's a great example. We're such a big country. And interestingly enough, a republic had never been proven to be successful in
No.
such a big country.
No, absolutely. That's what I was saying. What makes it truly exceptional is that on this size of scale, there had never been this nation that was able to survive, especially 250 years. It's just a truly incredible story.
Because since we're so big and diverse, then you really needed that local government. You had sheriffs in the Wild West.
Yeah.
What did President Monroe know about know what's going on in the Wild West? You had to take care of things locally to make that happen. So I'm pretty fascinated with that lack of knowledge, and that more Americans still show up to vote for the president than they do in midterms.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So that's something you can teach your kids.
Yes. Well, I mean, at our school, they had, because you have to register to vote, they had someone help students register to vote because a bunch of them didn't know how to register to vote, or some of them probably didn't even care to register to vote too. They're like, what's my vote? What's it going to mean?
Right.
I mean, it's just sad to see. So I think that's definitely something as a teacher I want to encourage my students. You are part of the people. We are in charge of the government. I mean, like you said, it is created for us, by us. And so I think that's something that students really need to hear is encouragement that, yes, you can and you should participate.
One of the things we do in the speeches is we go in and say, what do you want to change in your neighborhood? Mm-hmm. And the kids will say the most amazing things. They'll say everything from better brakes for small businesses, to we want to dig a well in our own backyard, or too many drugs, too much trash, too many wild dogs that are on leashes. We need new speed bumps. We need new lights. And I say, okay, well, you can do something about that.
Absolutely.
And the Constitution gives you the right with these Bill of Rights to write a petition. Because so many people go out and say, I'm going to storm the streets. And of course, you have a right to do peaceably.
Yes, absolutely.
But they don't know what they really want. So we teach pulling a tool out of a toolbox. Start with your petition. Write down exactly what you want. And then use your speech, and then use your press.
Yes.
And then you can plan your assembly. But can you call the president about this? Speed bumps? No. But you can call your local representative.
Absolutely.
And it brings it home to those kids to say, oh, it affects me.
Yes.
Well, so I think that's really important, right? When you're teaching.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts about teaching history to kids and how you make it tangible? Because everybody these days just wants immediate gratification. What are going to be your tactics for that?
Well, I think for me personally, like I said, I enjoy reading about history, but just reading it from a book, that's not going to do too much. You need to have some visuals. You need to incorporate history in something. I mean, we have so much new technology, too, that can help us visualize, help us see history. And then also, too, there's so much history around us. I mean, even in Joplin, Missouri, we have George Washington Carver. His national monument or historical site is right 30 minutes away from us. There's just so many incredible histories that we could go and see in person. And so I think encouraging that will definitely be something that I could use. But like I said, just using these new resources to help bring history to life will be something that
and there's
helps
so
them.
many.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and then talking about the long-term effects too and how it has affected us. I think that's definitely important too.
And why it matters.
Absolutely.
And I think when our founders wrote the United States Constitution, Jefferson sent Madison a bunch of books.
Oh,
you know? And Madison said, I want to read everything. I want to understand. But they also studied philosophy.
Oh, yes.
They studied history, and they knew the mistakes of history. We had that big study on American Exceptionalism in 2022 on, Constituting America. But it's like Greece didn't survive because in the democratic process, right, it became too chaotic, right? It's like everybody can't show up to vote at the same time. And then Rome didn't survive, with their Senate because these imperial, emperors and Julius Caesar and everybody came in. So they wanted to learn from history.
And that's
why
it's so important. Absolutely.
That they made, the good and the bad.
Absolutely. And I think you need to learn both too. That way we know we can recognize our mistakes while also realizing we've made tremendous progress and we continue to do so. And I think there's a lot of beauty in that.
I think that's one of the things that makes American exceptional is that our founding fathers put the foundation for us, and there was a lot that was wrong.
Absolutely.
We all know there was a lot. We fought a war over that.
The
Civil War. There was a lot that was wrong, but they gave us that window of the amendment process.
Oh my gosh!
To build our country. Talk about what the amendment process means to you, because and you know what, Wyatt, it'd be really cool to teach your students about not to forget about the amendment process.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do it because it takes too long.
Yeah,
but laws can be overturned very quickly. But the amendment process, except for prohibition, every amendment it stays.
Strong, absolutely.
What are your thoughts about the amendment process?
I mean, the amendment process helps it make the Constitution a living document. The founders realized that, these are great principles, but there's going to be some new things that need to be added on. Because this, like I said, to make progress, it's not already perfect. We're going to have to make some steps, to ensure it to be more perfect, to be a better union. So that amendment process has significantly helped. Just think about all the amendments that have come since. It's a lot of issues too. So the 13th Amendment of abolishing slavery, 19th Amendment for women's rights, all these important amendments help improve our country and helps on that progress of, seeking that better union and perfecting it more.
And also there's it's changing the ability to vote from 21 to 18.
Yes.
Because they were sending young men off
Absolutely.
to fight in war who were 18, 19, 20, but they had no right to vote about what. So that was an amendment that I think was really important. One of the things I love about the amendment process, and we don't always have time to discuss this with the kids, and Juliet and I were giving a speech one day together, and we looked at each other and we're like, my daughter.
Yes,
That's brilliant. If there are two ways to amend the Constitution. One's through what?
Well, the House of Representatives and Senate, they have to agree for Congress. Congress has to approve it, then it goes out to the states. And then if 3/4 of the states approve it, then it goes to the president's desk. President signs it into law. Boom, new amendment.
And what's the other way?
That one is, I believe it's the petition too, to call for the state's legislatures?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the state legislators can put forth an amendment too, I believe.
They can call a convention of states.
That's right, yes.
And I love that. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was talking with one of our guests, like, wouldn't you love to know who suggested the amendment process? Who was in that room when the Constitution was written that says we really need an amendment process, Because otherwise you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. You're losing all those great checks and balances.
Absolutely.
But it's fascinating because if Congress doesn't want to limit their terms, if Congress doesn't want to balance the budget, if Congress won't do it, all amendments have been through Congress.
Absolutely.
Through Prohibition, though, they did ratify that through a convention of states. But all of them have been proposed through Congress. But you can propose it through a convention of states. So 2/3 of the states can meet anywhere.
Yeah.
They can meet in Missouri or wherever they wanted, and say we're coming together to propose an amendment to the Constitution because Congress won't do it to change this process, and then they write it, and then it's sent out to 3/4 of the states, which is kind of how the Constitution was done.
Yeah.
They told the Articles of Confederation Congress, we just want to make a few tweaks.
Yeah.
And so that's why a lot of people are afraid of the Convention of States. They're like, oh, look what happened with the Constitution. They said they were just going to make a few amendments to the Articles of Confederation. They wrote a whole new thing. But technically, the state legislatures pick two, representatives to go and really say, we're going to deal with this one amendment. They can limit it. And we want you to go work out this one amendment. But I love that power of the states.
Absolutely. And I hadn't really learned about it until one of my recent college classes, to where we read a book. It was called Republic Lost. And, as you were saying, too, all these things, people want congressional term limits or a balanced budget amendment. Congress is going to be the ones who have to pass it, but are they really going to? Because, they haven't been doing that. So calling those state legislatures would definitely be a great amendment process.
Yeah, I love that.
And I'm ashamed that, it's not
never
taken.
Been done.
No.
They're very close with the balanced budget amendment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're very close to getting 2/3 of the states.
Well, that's just common sense. But
hello.
Yeah.
Common core of common sense. Isn't that what we're all about?
Most of the states, they have amendments, or they have to have a balanced budget. But that's just a simple business rule.
I know, but the federal government doesn't.
Nope.
And that's going to be a disaster for all of us. Okay, so in closing here, I'm so impressed with you. I just relish your integrity, your commitment to God and family and country, your whole entire family, and I can't wait to see how you're going to flourish out there and the impact you're going to make on all those whose path cross yours. Your students are going to be very lucky to have you as a history professor. Let's close with the pursuit, right?
Okay.
The pursuit of happiness. It's the pursuit. It means so many different things. Happiness is so broad. What is the pursuit that our founders gave us, this freedom to pursue? What does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, as you were saying, the pursuit is just something that it gives individuals more control over them. The government's not dictating, okay, you have to do this, or we're going to limit you from doing it. The pursuit allows individuals to pursue something that makes them happy, to feel fulfilled, whether that might be freedom of religion, being fulfilled that way, doing all these different things, or such as free market too, trying to work more so that way you can have the American dream, family, kids, well-paying job, all that. The pursuit is just something that's so integral to our belief, and what helps make America exceptional is this journey of pursuing something that you want to do and that you're able to.
There you go. And God bless America, right?
Amen to that.
Wyatt Hensley, we're thrilled to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.